Have you ever wondered what title insurance was for? Or what does a title company actually do? We're about to go inside and meet my good friend, Jared Bradley. He's been in the title business for over 20 years and recently opened up his own title company 6 years ago. I'm Jenny Lee with the Premier Property Group. Let's go inside and learn from Jared Bradley. Hi Jared, good to see you. Thank you for taking the time to sit down with me and talk to me about title insurance. As a realtor, I often get the question, do I really need title insurance? So maybe you can kind of clarify what really is title insurance and why do we need it?
Well, I'm kind of glad you asked that question, Jenny, because I do get asked that question quite often. And I don't think I've ever heard the same answer 2 times. Now, first of all, I'm not an attorney. I don't play one on TV. I am a licensed title insurance agent. Title insurance has been around for about 130 years, and I've been in the industry for about 20 years. Title insurance protects you from the possibility that your seller may not have clear title to the property before they pass it on to you. It gives you the peace of mind of knowing that when you go to sell that property that you're free from any kind of title defects or title issues.
That's really interesting. So for example, can you kind of give me a scenario where title insurance really kind of protected both the buyer and the seller?
Well, we've had one of the common things that popped to my head right now is we've all heard the story about Bob Jr. trying to sell Bob Sr.'s property.
Yes.
After Bob Sr. had passed away, just because they had the same name, and it got all the way to the closing table before the closer looked at the driver's license and realized that Bob Jr. was only 35 years old, and Bob Sr. had owned that property for 40 years, so the numbers didn't add up. So that's something where title insurance would have come in to protect you from forged deeds or illegal deeds or things like that.
So just to clarify, title insurance is very different from homeowners insurance.
Oh yes, very different. Homeowners insurance will protect you from future disasters such as fire or storm damage, and it's an annual premium that you pay once a year. Title insurance is a one-time premium that you pay at your real estate closing, and it protects the history of the title to ensure that those defects are gone, that there are no title.
So you pay the one time and you have that protection on the title of your property until you actually go to sell it, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
all right, good question. Yeah. Or good answer, I should say.
Absolutely.
What about a brand new home? Why would you need title insurance on a home that was just constructed?
Well, that's another good question, because I know that you deal a lot with home builders. And there are people that are building a new home, sometimes they think that that is the beginning of the chain of title to that property when they buy it because they're the first owner of that property. But the truth is the property or the land that home was built on has had a prior owner. And
or
sometimes it's had multiple,
absolutely.
And there could be all kinds of undiscovered title issues on that property. So it's a very good idea to have title insurance on a new home as well.
What are some other common title issues that you've occurred over the past 20 years being a title agent?
Well, at Bradley Title, we try to eliminate any title issues before we handle any real estate closings. But we always find stuff. You find errors within legal descriptions. That's probably the most common. And then, claims are not too common, but a claim can be a devastating thing to a homeowner that's purchased a property. And they find unknown liens and judgments, unsatisfied mortgages, illegal deeds and forgeries, things like that. One of the things that's on the rise in Florida is elderly abuse. The state of Florida's population is about 25% over the age of 65. A couple of years ago, we did a closing with a young couple that was purchasing a property from an elderly gentleman. This man had recently lost his wife, and they were trying to push this closing along pretty fast, and we found out it was the son that was trying to push it along pretty fast. Well, about a year after the closing, we get a letter from the attorney, the new buyers got a letter from the attorney of the daughter of the gentleman, saying that he was not mentally stable at the time that he signed that deed. And so she was claiming ownership of that property. Now, since the guy had title insurance, the title insurance company came in, paid his legal bills, fought the legal battle for him, but that could have been very costly to a new home buyer who has invested their life savings into this new home and to remodeling it.
Absolutely, and not a whole lot of folks have a little extra pocket to fight unwanted or unknown legal issues.
Absolutely, and that's where your title insurance company can come in and stand in and help you.
Well, that's awesome. What other services does Bradley Title have to offer?
Well, Jenny Lee, once the contract gets here from a real estate agent, that's where we typically get our business, from a real estate agent. A real estate agent would drop off the contract. We would order a title search through the public records. And what that does is that just checks the history of the title, checks and see if there's any outstanding mortgages, outstanding liens, any judgments or tax liens against the property or against the owners of the property. And the buyers want that because the end process is going to be a title insurance policy. And to get to that title insurance policy, we have to make sure that that title is clear on that property. And so we get the contract, we do the title search, the MLS search, which is a municipal lien search, that checks to see if there's any kind of open permits,
and that leads
code
back
violations,
into
anything like that.
The roof or any kind of liens that had been placed on the property unbeknownst to the buyer.
That's right, and that can cover any of that. And then we get the file processed where we would order homeowners association dues if it's part of a homeowners association. We would order a payoff from the lender of the current property if there's any outstanding mortgages on the property. We'd gather information from the buyer and the seller, make sure that they invest in title the way that they want to vest it. We have run into issues where we've gotten into the closing table and the buyers have looked at me and said, I've decided to take title under the name of a trust. Well, that's stuff that we need to know prior to closing so that we can prepare the documents prior to closing instead of at the closing table. And same thing with the power of attorney. You want to make sure that both parties are present. If it's you and your husband, you and your wife at the closing, you both have to be there for the closing unless we have a power of attorney approved prior to that.
Got it. And that's something that you can prepare if they want to do a power of attorney here at Bradley Title?
Yes, we can prepare a power of attorney as long as we're issuing the title insurance policy with that closing.
Last but not least, I know over the past couple of years, wire fraud has been a big issue in this industry. So can you tell me what Bradley Title does and your team to protect both the buyer and the seller from wire fraud?
Well, like you said, over the past couple of years, the big issues have been cybercrime, email hacking, wire fraud. Unprotected email domain names are the #1 target from hackers, and what they're doing is they're hacking into these email chains, Gmail, Hotmail, MSN, those easy ones like that. They're trying to break into those, and they're replacing wire instructions that title companies are sending out to buyers, and they're getting these funds sent to an account on behalf of the hackers. The FBI claims that 99% of these cases can be prevented by a simple phone call to your title company. So most title companies, including Bradley Title now, we are requiring buyers and sellers, anybody that is sending funds to us or that we're sending funds out to, that wire instructions have to be verbally verified.
So absolutely, without a doubt, do not send money through your email.
You do not want to send your wire instructions through an unsecure email. You want to make sure that the wire instructions are encrypted through a secure email server when you send it off to the buyer. Absolutely.
Now, if something like this unfortunately ends up happening, is title insurance won't cover you because you hadn't purchased the property.
Absolutely.
Correct?
This is not a title insurance issue.
If you're wiring money anywhere, you need to speak with a human being before
you want to
hitting
verbally confirm the wire instructions before you send it.
Well, Jared, this has been an incredibly informative little meetup. If anybody were to want to know more about Bradley Title, where can they find more information about you?
They can go to my website at bradleytitle.com. They can go to our Facebook page at Bradley Title LLC. And they can also call me. They can come by and visit. We can have another chat and we can have some cookies ready.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much, Jared. I appreciate your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching this video. And thank you to Bradley Title for providing excellent service to our buyers and sellers in our community. If you or anybody that you know wants to be interviewed in these community style videos, please comment below and I'd be happy to speak with them. Again, I'm Jenny Lee with the Premier Property Group. See you next time.